Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about the offset value required when mounting the Naza GPS receiver away from the centre of gravity of your multicopter. I'm not talking about the magnetic declination of the inbuilt compass. I'll cover this in another video. When you open the Naza software configuration tool and select the options Basic and then Mounting, you'll be presented with a screen. Here in the bottom right hand side you'll see some configurable boxes labelled X, Y and Z. Okay, what we're going to need to do next is determine how much your GPS unit is offset from the centre of gravity of your multicopter and enter the values in the box we saw earlier. The drawing can be a little bit confusing in the manual because the writer seems to use red for positive values and he uses green for negative values, which in my book seems to go against normal thinking. Okay, here's a photo of my multicopter. It's a top-down view and I've just overlaid showing the X and Y axis so you can get an appreciation of where it is in relative to an actual multicopter. You can see my GPS mounted here. It's basically looking at the X axis. It's on the green side of the X axis, not on the red side. And this means I need to enter a negative value when I come to determine what the X value is. As you can see, on the Y axis, my GPS is also on the green side. So again, this will mean I need to enter a negative value for the Y value. Right, this is the side view of my multicopter, and I'm basically showing the Z-axis against the centre of gravity, which is the white line. You notice my GPS is mounted on the green side, meaning again I'll have to enter a negative value in the Z value. Now I know the values either should be positive or negative, or mine are going to be negative. So what I'm going to have to do now is work out what the actual values of X, Y and Z are going to be. Okay, you don't need anything fancy, you just need something that measures in metric. They don't do imperial, which is fine by me. Basically the software doesn't let you enter values in millimeters, you've got to use whole values in centimeters. So from the centre of gravity, where you determine that is on your multicopter, you need to measure along the X-axis to the centre of the GPS unit. Here I'm measuring a value of about 5.32 centimeters. So I'm going to say that's 5 centimeters for the X value. And remembering that the X value in my scenario is going to be a negative value. So I'm going to write down and remember my X value is going to be negative 5. Alright, I'm basically going to move on to the Y value. Again, holding my measuring stick along the multicopter's Y axis. And then again, I'll measure the distance from the centre of gravity to the centre point of the GPS module. Here I'm showing 4.42 centimeters, so I'm going to round that down to 4. Alright, finally I'm going to measure the Z value along the Z axis of the multicopter. Here I'm measuring a value of 10.58 centimeters, so I'll call that 10. I know I should round up, but hey ho, whatever. Okay, as a remember, it's in the green zone on mine, so it's a negative value, so I'll be putting in a value of negative 10 for the Z-axis. Alright, just back at the Naza configuration tool screen. Just showing here I've got -5, -4, -10 for my X, Y and Z values. Now when you're entering those values, so let's say you're entering the X value, type in -5, press the enter key on the keyboard. There's no other way of actually committing those configs to your Naza controller. So every value you enter, just make sure you hit the enter key after, then that commits the configuration for the Naza controller. Okay, that's basically about the end of it. Hope that sort of cleared up a little bit of confusion for the manuals, because I found it a bit confusing when they were using red for positive values and green for negative values.